Hi, Trevor here, Life Reflection Request. Thank you for stopping by. Well, come in again. You're very welcome as we look at this request that channel has received. First of all, I trust you enjoyed my last video on iconic songwriter Burt Bacharach, and through his life and also what the world needs now is love, sweet love. What a great line we need for that one right now. We just looked at how we can make this world a better place. Well, we're going back to these guys today. It was around the 29th of October 2021 that I first did a video on the Waterboys, Church Not Made with Hands, and we have since received another request for these guys. Again, a little bit about these guys. Formed in London in 1983, very much a musical vehicle for Michael Scott, who has done stuff with the Waterboys, some stuff on his own. He's got this incredible ability to write songs, and he needed a vehicle to which he could play them. And so there's been a lot of musicians in the Waterboys over the years, mainly around the UK, Ireland, Scotland region. They've been renowned as the big music, and of course they burst onto the scene all the way back in the early 1980s with the song Hole of the Moon. Now, when I did the last video, Church Not Made with Hands, I actually put a link to that particular, to the official clip of that one. I thought what I'd do this time is I'd actually put a live version of that one, because you can't do the Waterboys and not look at that song. It's such an incredible song. Hole of the Moon. I'm still trying to work out, I think it's whole as in W-H-O-L-E, the whole of the moon. And I think there's maybe a link between that one and the song I've been requested to look at today. But before we go onto that song, the Waterboys, they've been described as, first of all, the big music. A couple of other quotes. A metaphor of seeing God's signature in the world. That was certainly the case with Church Not Made with Hands, because it's all about the environment. But alongside that, we've got a mystical celebration of paganism at the same time. So there's a bit of a mixture of things going on here, which is pretty cool. Between 1983 and 2022, there's 15 studio albums. So these guys have actually done a lot of stuff, which is pretty cool. Anyway, the song I've been asked to look at, Bigger Picture, and below I couldn't actually find a live version of this one or an official clip of this one, so we do have a bit of a static clip, but listen to the words, they're pretty amazing. Came off the Room to Rome album of 1990. Bigger Picture. It's quite interesting. I'm just making this up as we go along, as you know. When an artist paints a picture, there could be this big scene in front of them, a big forest and a mountain, and there's a table with a glass of wine on the front. They could paint that whole thing, or they could choose just to paint the wine bottle and the wine glass, or they could choose just to paint a flower. The artist's canvas is only limited by their imagination, so there's more to a picture than just the big picture. But I think what Michael Scott's trying to talk about here is, hey, let's step back and look at the bigger picture for a second. And one of the lines in the chorus says, "I'm beginning to see the bigger picture. I'm starting to colour it in." Remember when you were a kid, or you might even do it now, because mindfulness well and truly uses colouring in. I must admit, there's just too much fine detail in the mindfulness picture for me to do it. But for some people, I can understand why it's very therapeutic for them. So you tried your best to stay within the lines. And if you even put a little stroke outside that line, you beat yourself up a little bit and think, oh, the whole picture's ruined. Well, let's take that philosophy a little bit further and look at the fact that, we only can colour something in when we know what it looks like. And we can only know what it looks like by taking a step back and looking from a few different directions. Or it could be that we need to take a look at it through someone else's eyes and understand it from their point of view. My boss at work has got this picture of the world on his wall, and he looks about the fact that not everybody knows the whole thing. We need few people to fill in all the gaps. But when you do life for a while and you talk to lots of people and you discover what this world and this life actually is, you get to understand, I suppose, what the bigger picture is. Often, I think it involves unlearning things. You know, the habits that we had at the start we thought were pretty helpful, but actually they weren't at all. In fact, they were quite a hindrance to people around us. But of course, who's going to tell us when something's not right? Because we don't want to listen to that stuff, right? We want to just keep going the way we go. But as you, I suppose, become a little bit more mellow, and I think as we get older, life experience kind of tells us that there's few things that we've got to be able to let go, things that we need to just walk with, and things that we need to just, move on from or walk with. I'm very much an advocate of not moving on from things. It's not so much, you might be thinking, oh, Trevor, come on, that's not right. Now, just stay with me for a minute. We can't pretend things have never happened. What we need to do is we need to walk with that stuff, carry it in a way that's healthy. And this is what grief does. It enables us to do that. Because if something comes along, a bit of a picture that you don't want to see, well, it's caused it as a shock to you because, of life experience. But the bigger picture comes into play and says, hey, take stock of what you know, take stock of where you've been, and realise, hey, it's not all bad. Your life experience, although it might actually be varied and traumatic and a few other things, is a life experience. And it's a life experience, the good and the bad, that make us who we are. Obviously, we've got to make the most of the good times. We've got to celebrate those times. We've got to enjoy them. We've got to colour them in, as this song goes. You might use brighter colours for that bit, right? A bit of yellow and green and blue. It's nothing like a mountain lake amongst trees. Pretty awesome, that one. But, the darker times of life, the reds, the browns, the blacks. But, the whole of the picture is important. If every colour was just the bright ones and there was no black in there, it would seem weird. So the bigger picture takes into account the light and the dark. And it all kind of blends together into our life experience, which no matter where you've been or what you've done, is valuable. Just stop and listen to that for a second. It's been trauma. Moments where the world has done stuff and you think, I have no idea what just happened. Why was my childhood the way it was? Why did my marriage end up the way it did? Why did my children hate me? We'd colour those things in with black and brown, right? We would. And I'm not discounting those moments, but they are part of our life experience. So what do we do with them? Well, we learn to walk with them, but in a way that's healthy. So if something was to come up later that reminds you of that particular event and you think, oh God, I'm back there again. I thought I got over that. Well, realising that we walk with stuff kind of alleviates that risk just a little bit. So we end up being able to move forward. I think moving forward, walking forward, not getting over. I don't think we get over things. We learn to walk forward with them, so that we can see, I suppose, some of the strengths from those times. If you've actually come through trauma and you're still here, you're resilient, you're strong, you're courageous, you're a person of worth and a person of value. You've survived. But a little voice chimes in straight away and says, oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm traumatized. Well, yes, you are. But you're still here. You're still living. You're still walking. You still might have hope. And it's a beautiful, and you're a beautiful, amazing human being because of that. Anyone who can survive the stuff that the world throws at us these days, and it seems to throw stuff at us all the time from the most unlikely of places. And so we don't ever really get a reprieve, from this stuff. We think, oh, I've actually, I'm at a point now where I can relax a little bit. The next day, something happens. So what we need to do is we need to take stock of our emotional journey and think, hey, look, if I actually have been resilient and I actually have been courageous, celebrate that fact. How amazing for you to do that. Give yourself permission to be able to celebrate it. Talk to someone about it and say, hey, look, I've got this photo of myself, from my own experience, a year 7 photo. It's horrible. I had braces on my feet. I don't know, my clothes weren't right. I was not in a good place in year 7 at all. Go look back at that guy and think, you wimp, you pathetic little human being. No, I've come to realise that human being was very, very strong, courageous. A bit scared, but courageous. And what's the benefit for me going forward? Well, I suppose I know what it means to be scared. And so I can be a source of light to those around me. So the bigger picture is just that. It incorporates all of our life experience, the good, the bad, the daily life as well. Let's not forget the moments in our daily lives. We're not just hanging out for weekends, right? Every day is important. And so wherever you might be in your life journey now, if you're at the start of your life journey, your teens or early 20s, you've got life experience up to this point. There'll be more to come, but just know that there will be more to come. So what can you do now to prepare yourself for that? See how courageous you are right now. Give yourself permission to smile and pat yourself on the back. If you've got a bestie, talk to them about it, because that'll only deepen the relationship. It's not cool to talk about this stuff, by the way. It's not. But if your bestie's your bestie, they'll understand. So I've kind of gone on a bit today. I didn't quite know where I was going to go and to what sort of places I was going to go to. But I think we've got a real well-rounded kind of chat here, I'm thinking. And good on you, Michael Scott, back in 1990, seeing the bigger picture and starting to colour it in. And I think the challenge for all of us is to pick up our pencils and colour in our individual, unique, bigger pictures. So again, below we've got a live version of Whole of the Moon. Of course, you've got to have that one when you have the Waterboys. I love that song, by the way. Bigger picture, a static clip. There's no live version of this one or official clip. And I've also included my last video from Burt Bacharach. So if you want to recap on him, feel free. Well, thanks for this request. It's great to get them, and feel free to send them through in the comments. Next time we're going to go on to a guy that's had a pretty amazing career, Andy Williams. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.